this song. So a lot of people going through a lot of things right now in life. You know, feeling like they're the only ones. You're not. You're not the only one going through what you're going through at all. But sometimes you're supposed to be the only one. What's going on, folks? Welcome. Sometimes I gotta force myself to do these lives, you know. But I was vibing out to this song that I really love because there's just so much going on right now in the world that some people might actually believe that they're in it alone. You're not in it alone. You're not in it alone. You know, the world is really, really changing very fast in front of us. You know, and a lot of times people are so busy trying to survive in this world that they don't even understand all the things that are happening and all the power that they truly do have to really change and transform their lives. If y'all can hear me, let me know what's going on, everybody. Honda Scorpio, JBS, peace. Humble Tim, you know what I'm saying? Welcome, guys. You know, I'm just trying to keep it fluid out here because, you know, mostly I try to communicate through email. The lives and the social media is just a tool that we use for business for the most part. I don't get sucked up into this shit. I try to do it frequently because, you know, speaking versus writing, it's a difference. But how y'all doing? It's Friday. Hope everybody is not about to spend their money on foolishness this weekend and be concerned about building your wealth, and also mostly concerned about these moves that are these chess moves that the so-called powerful people are making right now. You got to be making chess moves too. You have to be able to look at yourself or what you're building, you know what I'm saying, as big of an enterprise as anybody else that's in so-called power right now, because we all have that capacity. It doesn't really matter where you're coming from. If you have a blueprint or a short shot way of achieving something and being successful at something, if you trust that process, it's going to happen. You know, the minute you stop trusting the process, that's when things go, you know, they go sour. And the reason a lot of us don't trust the process is not that we don't trust ourselves or we don't believe in ourselves. We do. We get distracted. We get distracted by a whole bunch of different things. You know what I'm saying? And then the focal point changes so easily. You know, and men, we have to understand this definitely from the perspective of relationships, because you see how you perform when you're in a relationship versus when you're not. Now, of course, you could be not in a relationship and don't have a purpose that you're serving and still be underperforming, while you could be in a relationship and have a purpose and perform better. There are always different dynamics. And I'm not saying, because a lot of people come at me and say, oh, you know, my purpose is to be in love in a relationship and do this, then that. I'm like, if that's what you say, bro, you know, if that's what you believe, if you believe your purpose is more entailed or more tied to serving in relationships with women and various other things, like, what I like to say to this guy is this: if you had done things the conventional, traditional, indigenous kind of way and got developed to find your purpose and to understand yourself, right? If you did that, that would have started at around age 12, 13. And guess what? You would not have had the opportunity to say your purpose should revolve around women and relationships and your children and stuff like that. Because that's why you start the development process it's supposed to start so early, so that way women and children are not on your mind. But let's be real. We live in a culture where they get the women on our minds very fast. Before we're 13, 14 years old, the possibilities and the various ideas about relationships, before, you know, they're formulated in our minds because we're watching this media, we're listening to this stuff, we're listening to dudes sing songs about baby I love you all day long. You know what I'm saying? We love all this love music, and our parents loved it too. You know, that's why, you know, that's another thing. My dad, he was more into instrumentals, you know. So a lot of the music I listened to when I was younger was like different cultural music that I didn't even understand. He liked French and Spanish and guitars and instrumentals and stuff like that. I don't get to think about what these people talking about. You know, a lot of us grew up on Luther and all these, you know, 90s R&B joints and all this type of stuff. Like, we've been thinking about girls based on the music and the influence, and that hijacks hormonal activities and secretions in your brain. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't hear me though. That's how dangerous this shit has been for us out here. Because the powers that be don't want you to be as powerful as you could be. And it has nothing to do with what they're doing in office or politics, and more to do with the distractions that have been created to keep you from being high up in yourself. What's going on, y'all? The topic, man, I'm just shooting the breeze today, bro. I'm just shooting the breeze, just talking about how I see things right now in regards to, you know, things that are going on governmentally, nationally, and how men themselves need to be like, the masculinity in us need to like tap on to the point where we realize, damn, what the hell am I doing to secure myself? Everybody else is playing chess right now, right? Regardless of how this election swings, everybody else is playing chess. Are you playing chess for your family? So I guess that's the topic then, right? Are you making the chess moves, the moves that you're supposed to be making in order to secure yours, to do better for you, to make sure that your lineage of people that, you know, that come from you, your family, your tribe, are not on the shitty end of any particular stick? Because every election, there's somebody on the shitty end. You know, how do you insulate yourself as a man these days? How do you insulate yourself to make sure that regardless of who wins and what happens, I'm going to retain my rights, and I'd rather die trying to provide for myself than to die waiting for somebody else to provide for me. See, the Mars retrograde, y'all know I keep it like I really only speak in accordance to the astrological happenings in the universe anyways. So the purpose of the messages that I've been bringing, especially via email, about, you know, Mars retrograde and the various astrological things and how that's really affecting masculinity as a whole on a national level. Because what you're seeing right now is two masculine energies that are fighting for power. It ain't feminine. You understand what I'm saying? And these people who are fighting for power, they don't give a shit what their wives think about what they're doing right now. You understand what I'm saying? But some of us on this lower level, where we're coming from in these relationships, where these relationships have already captivated the majority of our youth and our brains, we are so concerned about what the women think about what we're going to do as men. Shit's crazy, because I've been there. You know, and if you have a wife or a spouse or a partner, you know what it's like too, because there's this ingrown pathogenic mentality that was given to men these days that put us in this position where we even when we rise up above it, we still low key are looking for the woman to be in approval with the shit when we do it. You want her to see your brilliance. Don't we all? Fucking right, we do. But understand that she ain't gonna always see your brilliance, especially when you have to change the patterns of how you do things. So like, so the way my mindset goes these days in regards to what I see happening on, and like I said, this is not necessarily a divine version of masculinity being showed to us on the grand scale, but they put all this women's stuff first to keep you distracted while the real freaking lions are out there eating sheep and fucking shit up. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's about what men do. It always will be. That's why I write about this stuff. You get what I'm saying? And when it comes to women, it's about how men treat women. And that matters tremendously, but nobody's going to be able to treat women the way that they need to be treated if men are not recognized, or or even if we don't become men, if we're just these false ideals masculine that we got from TV, if that's all we end up being, bro, like it's over already. And that's why I'm saying, like, with the energies that are popping right now in the universe, like, you can't just think that this is just powerful people fighting with each other for the last 4 years. Nah, it's a revelation. Things are changing, and if you're not changing, then how strong can you be? You know what I'm saying? What's going on, folks? Again, what you say, Dwayne? Everything that the elders was telling us when we were kids is true, and now the kids then that are adults now believe they found new ideas. They ain't found new nothing, right? We ain't found new anything yet. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny when you talk about the elder stuff, because I remember, like, in my younger years too, younger as in like the last 10 years, like, be like, damn, what end are you guys talking about? You know what I'm saying? What end were they talking about? Like, in the church and all this type of stuff, it's pretty hard to understand until you start seeing things from a different perspective, until you mature a little bit more, or a lot more. You get what I'm saying? And see beneath the so-called powers that be. It's like it's always been a mirage or an illusion that's been fed to us, because look where we live. Look how we live. Like, if you understand, like, this is why I talk about, like, if you understand how men have been used in this society for the last 150, 200 years and beyond, then you'll understand why it is so much about men. And you'll also understand about why the current president, right? Current president, his slogan is "Make America Great Again." So when the hell was America great? Like, before, and off what basis? So now that basis had been what? Men working their asses off. Fuck out of here. Like, do you understand what the steel industry was 125 years ago? And we're talking about, there's so many different perspectives to look at it from, but what I'm saying is it's all on our labor. So a lot of us are not laborers like we were 100 years ago, but we have the ability to work for whatever we want. It's just a matter of who you working for. And I think that's the realest thing ever. You know, when you see these people are playing chess moves, these people that you work for, they don't have any loyalty for you. You got more loyalty for them. You hoping that these presidential people give a fuck about you, because you're not powerful enough to make them. That's what has happened to men. You understand what I'm saying? You're not even powerful enough, for the most part, many of us, to make our women listen to us. And then people will wonder why men are going their own way. Fuck out. Yeah, hell yeah. I don't advocate for MGTOW on that level, but you're supposed to go your own way with women too. And of course, the level of which you go with your own way is based on you, man. Peace to you too, my brother, man. Appreciate y'all for joining me today. It ain't gonna be too long. Just shooting the breeze. Might even come back later on with a little webinar. You know, it's been a while since I dropped one of my classes, but definitely time. You know what I'm saying? So if you're on my email list, you can definitely stay tuned. Look out for some more information. Just dropped a new podcast called Relationships and Masculinity, and that's on the heartonbreak.com website. It's the first thing you'll see on there. It's really real. It's really real. It's really, really real. Everybody's playing chess right now. You gotta be too. You have to be. You gotta take these moves seriously, because you already know. Michael Jackson told us they don't really care about us. That's nearly 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You know they don't care about you. You know that. Stop wishing and hoping, or stop being so immersed in your struggle to not be trying to consider what it takes to be triumphant, because the struggle for the most part is being a subordinate to the wealthy in this country. You already know that. I don't speak about this stuff too much, but I'm just, I try to keep it in an intelligent format so that way I'm not, being blasphemous and talking negatively about anyone. But you can clearly understand if you use some wit. Like, you already know what it is. It hasn't changed, and it won't change unless you change. You were robbed of being a producer and a creator on your own means by government means and or laws, codes that were created to limit you. And therefore, and then the subsequent laws, codes, and things that we now call institutional racism, but they were there to cause division amongst people. And and see, the thing about the people who are spreading the propaganda is they don't care what color you are. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. The race card is dying. It's dying. And you know how powerful of a card that was for the last 100 years? Now it's about to die. So what do these people do? They go for new cards. They pull new cards. They find new ways to divide and conquer. This is the art of war being lived out. That's why I tell people, man, be on your study game. I love it that so many people have been contacting me about calls, cosmology calls and these readings to get you up on your game, because everybody else is playing the game at a high level. Why not you? Why not you? And there's a lot of guys out here on social media stuff. I don't really care to have this whole social media stuff so popular and stuff, because I don't necessarily talk to women. Women still talk to me. And have a lot to say about what I have to say, I don't, because of the nature of my book and the nature of my content. I'm not gonna be on all these stations and all that type of stuff. This is the real rawness for type of people who understand that, listen, man, you can complain all you want, but be prepared to do something to change your own life. And that's really what it boils down to. Be prepared to do something in your life to transform you. Stop. If you were a slave, stop pretending that you're not. You know what I'm saying? If you're out here like really not on your A game, stop dressing up like you on your A game. Stop faking it. Be humble. Be humble. Slaves can't boast about their shoes and their cars. How are we proud of these things and don't have institutions or means to get our own food? Depend on stores to feed you. You're not that's what I'm saying. It ain't your fault. It ain't our fault, particularly. Like Tupac said, I was given this world. I didn't make it. We were given this. But you see, all the narratives that we've been fed all boil down to what happens when masculinity is destroyed. Really and truly. It all boils down to we're dealing with the effects of a weakened masculine, where so-called upper crest of people who had all the ideas initially, I guess, right? Who feel like their ideas were superior to, the common man's, or whatever the case is. Common man supported him, and now he just took control of everything. Do you guys know about the unions and the steel companies and how these people fought and killed these people? How many people died? These were men. Female empowerment is a tool of the same propaganda system that y'all don't trust. Nobody trusts that system. So why you think it's this whole female empowerment stuff over the last 50 years is not part of the same propaganda. Of course, they get swept underneath the rug because you just can't really openly come out and say that. That's why somebody was like, what's the topic and shit? The topic is just talking about what's going on right now. You don't come out and say this stuff. It has to be kind of like this. At the end of the day, regardless of what kind of news you watch, it's propaganda. You feel me? It's propaganda. It's propaganda. And the real thing that we're looking at is a constriction of masculinity, the altering of masculinity. Why are they putting all these estrogens in the foods? More estrogen, less testosterone. But more estrogen in the women's system increases testosterone. So they start acting like men. Come on, man. We're being engineered with. Why? To keep you from being a man. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful you're supposed to be. Somebody would spend billions a year poisoning your food to make sure your nuts don't hang too low. Void your development. Feed your mama all kind of stuff so while you're in the womb, you're being poisoned before you come here. All to prevent you from being this God king that you are. God damn it, man. That shit makes me That's that same shit that motivates me in the gym. The fact that I've been lied to so much for so long about the power that I have, and what can I do with this over the next 40 or 50 years, especially having more children. You get what I'm saying? You gotta be. Let me see what y'all talk about. Cops would look the other way back in the days, especially when it came to iron workers. Yup. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what I'm saying. Welders, real skill men, we still out there, but it's less and less. 15-year-old boys. I got these guys that work with me, and they're like 15 and 16. And I listen to them when they're working. I listen to them talk to themselves. They're trying to avoid work. But then they're not trying to, if you, like my daddy used to say, like, if you're trying to work hard alone, you're not gonna make it. But you gotta combine working smart with working hard to even have a chance. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want to work hard, you gotta be extremely intellectual. You gotta have some skills to make sure that you don't have to work so hard. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work any other way. Our families are divided, and I always like to say this: we all gotta literally be holding hands with each other, with those that we can deal with, of course, to help each other. But it can't be from a skillless perspective. It has to be, I do this and I do that. And of course, sometimes we don't even get to this point as men until we're 30s, nearly 40s, till we know what we're solid and good at. But we got to be able to make alliances with each other based on what we can do. You get what I'm saying? That's how you repair masculinity, by taking out this competitive edge that the propaganda has put to us. You feel me? That's just the realest OG stuff ever. Because when nations go to war, and they depend on their allies, they're dependent on those soldiers. And they done made a deal long time ago, and why these soldiers still have to come. And you may not want to send your soldiers over there. Maybe it's an old deal, but that's the deal. See, these are the aspects of masculinity that are not in the masses anymore. And like I said, as always, the biggest cog that you can move out of the way, the biggest blockage that you can move out of the way, that you can do, is to remove the complications that you have with women. by any means you were able to just focus on one thing, how powerful would you be? You haven't been able to. And I do this also as an example, myself being, held back to a certain degree, or not as powerful or strong as I could be, because I messed up in all these these two relationships. I say all these is just two for me. And yeah, like coming back from the amount of money and energy that has cost me is definitely taken away from, my strength. These relationships these days, because they've been socially engineered to be like that, are designed to do that, to keep you from getting to the top of your game, especially if you're out here busting these nuts every night and trying to go 2 rounds. You get what I'm saying? Nah, bro. You ain't getting no magnesium and no zinc back up in there. That's why I sell these herbs that I sell. Not to say that gives you permission to go shooting loads all the time. That definitely depletes your resources, your mental resources too. You know what I'm saying? We gotta become our elders to a certain degree, bro. You feel me? We gotta share what the elders shared with us. That's what I do. I share what's been shared with me, But I'm saying, real talk, that's the one that you do have control over, more control than you think. You're not in a position right now to change who the presidential candidates are. But you are in a position to sharpen your sword. You're always in a position to sharpen your own sword. You're always in a position to sharpen your own sword. And sharpening your sword is like, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a whole entire discipline itself, to clean your weapon and your tools, to maintain them. Like they say, you're not a carpenter without no tools. You got to become whoever you're supposed to become during this whole, despite everything that's going on. And you can't consider that self-reliance is not a part of that. It's got to be, bro. It's got to be. You got to have extra water at your tank based on how these people are going. And you can't just be like, oh, well, if nothing happens, I'll just go back to living my regular life. No, if nothing happens, you stick to being self-reliant. You stick to this mentality that you're not going to get caught slipping, because we've been caught slipping before. How many times our people been caught slipping? Thank you, Lorenzo. Say you're at the part where you're talking about the diet. Yup. Diet is key. Diet is key. How long till the kids become elders? How can the cycle be broken? How long till the kids become elders? Once they go through trial and error. They got to. But, we got to give them good game. I had one of the young boys I was working with that will work with me. He got a little girlfriend. And his mom's like, you need to talk to him about this girlfriend. He been dealing with her for years now. I'm like, years? Like, he's 15. Like, and blah, blah, blah. She's younger than him. So I get the whole rundown on the girlfriend. And she wants him to leave the girl. I was like, he ain't about to just leave his little girlfriend just because you don't like her, or just because of what you're saying. But what you're saying makes sense. So it took me about 2 months of working with him for him to realize that what I'm talking about is the truth. Don't do it. So we broke up with like a couple weeks ago. And you know what I'm saying? He tried to do it all smooth. So I'd be like, oh, who, her? Man, I've been broke up with her. I'm like, all right. Because she was already acting wild. She was already a major distraction. This man is captain on his football team. All kind of stuff. He don't got time for that. Who's going to tell him that? His mama telling me, like, he going to be like, well, shit, you and my dad on this blah, blah, blah. Like, everybody needs somebody, No, bro, you don't need nobody. You need to study. You need to work on you. You need to find a skill that you can spend the next 5 years working on. You know, and you can't make these children, these young men, do anything, especially if they don't live with you. They ain't your children. You try to give a good game, but that's it right there, bro. That's all we can do. We can give them good game and set good examples. Because the truth is, the way I see it is like this, right? If people are going to be in various levels, right? You're going to have management, upper management, you know, and this, and then people below. If that's gonna continue, which is likely to be, you at least just want to work with somebody who has good intention. You don't want to be making the predatorial, pedophile, billionaire owned company guy richer to do more fuck shit in the world. It's that simple. It really is that simple. When we as men created labor unions, we had to create labor unions, especially in the United States and various parts of the world. Why? Because these people got so powerful from steel, from cotton, from sugarcane, that they felt like they could make us do whatever they want to do. They wasn't working women. They started doing all of this crap to eliminate and to decrease the male population. So what? So they can have your woman. So they can have your children. Thousands, coal miners, look it up. Thousands. People died by the thousands. Men died by the thousands engineering this country to be what it is right now. Now, post-World War II, when things changed a bit, right? We died in war, but not necessarily from the labor, because it changed now. Now, you know, people still died putting cars together, Model T and shit like that, and got their arms sawed off and various other things, just like working in the steel and the coal mine industries 50 years prior. But what I'm saying is, you don't value what you've put in as a man, because you built these people, and now these people treat you like trash. And then the solution is not to be, you know what I'm saying, to be a bitch about it. It's to go do the shit that you're doing for them for yourself. And then if you can't do it for yourself, do what you need to do for yourself. That's it. And do it for the people around you who you work with, who are going to be loyal to you, with you. Do it for the people who you can have alliances with in 10, 20, and 30, and 40 years, where you can say, hey, bro, your daughter and my son, that's a good deal, you know? Write a contract on it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you gotta go. This is what building looks like. These people who are in power, they already built. But guess what? They built off our labor. They've been able to use women for the last 60 years in the clerical fields and various other things. All that shit's about to change. Donald Trump, Make America Greater stuff is about labor. It's about bringing manufacturing jobs back from China to America, but that hasn't been working so well, so they're gonna probably go from China to India, and a few may come here, but a few coming here is enough to create a ripple of thousands of jobs. Come on, man. Whether you personally gonna go get one of those jobs or not, men gonna want them, even if it means that you might lose a finger. That's how we are. So what I'm saying is that you can become a manufacturer in this new economy that's coming now. You really can. You can become a major producer. Like, that's what it's all been about, for you to be able to, as a, that's what even the white Americans Europeans who came to America, you know, when they came and saw the indigenous people doing all these different things and all, like, they had to learn quick that they had to produce on their own to survive and make it. You got to produce to survive and make it, and anybody that's telling you anything otherwise is joking with you and basically trying to mislead you. You know, so I ain't gonna be too much longer. Just wanted to spit that. And of course, you know, I do the cosmology and coaching sessions. You can get that in the link in my bio. This is for people who, you know, who are ready to understand themselves to the point where you're not just looking for how you move forward, but you're looking to master your dynamics of how you impact others around you. You know, there's the unconscious and the conscious side that gets revealed to you in these calls and these sessions that I talk about, the Cosmology Coaching sessions. It's pretty mechanical and logical, and I always say that for men because, like, you know, some of us are more emotionally tuned than others, but, you know, logical understandings of self is needed, and it's more so a metaphysical understanding of self when it's all said and done. So definitely check out the link in my bio or at my website, heartonbreak.com, under the Work With Me tab. Like, I don't care what's happening to you right now. I can show you how you can use what you're supposed to use, go through what you're supposed to go through, and get to your purpose. You know, the core setting of your life. You know, everything else just really revolves around that. You know, really understanding yourself, because when you don't understand how you're impacting others also, you're not really you're discounting like mastery, because mastery is like when these people put propaganda out here, right? Some people are going to look at it and be like, oh, that's BS. And then some people are going to look and be like, what? Are you serious? There's a difference in these people. You get what I'm saying? So you've got to become that type of person where you are not easily penetrated by others. You a man. You're supposed to be penetrating the world, not just your girl. You feel me? Like the same, like David did say in The Way of the Superior Man, the way you penetrate your woman is how you penetrate the world. You know, and a lot of people, because they're overly stimulated, they're penetrating their women excessively, draining themselves. You get what I'm saying? And they're not doing anything in the world. They're not accomplishing anything in the world. You only accomplish something in the world by knowing yourself and being true to that. So this is Nakata, as usual, signing off. Go ahead and check it out. If you want to get one of these coaching sessions with me, they're still on sale as of now. And look out for my emails. Go to heartonbreak.com. You can just download something. I do free downloads to get on the email. You can just download my 5 Principles of Masculinity ebook, and you get updates when the next classes and all this other stuff is going. So y'all take it easy out there. Peace. Happy Friday.